It is no surprise to anyone who's been paying attention to Standard to hear that Izzet is doing all right these days in the format. In fact, it seems like Wizards is printing a whole bunch of new toys for this archetype every time they release a new set. And this time is no different with Secrets of Strixhaven. We have 3 new cards to play with, and it has been a while since I played an Izzet aggro list on camera, so I figured it was a good time to try out these new cards. What are the new cards? First one up is Ancestral Anger. This is actually a reprint. 1 CMC sorcery speed spell. Target creature gains trample and gets +X/+0 until the end of turn, where X is 1 plus the number of cards named Ancestral Anger in your graveyard. Then draw a card. That last little line of text, very important. We always love drawing cards for 1 mana. Do you guys remember Monstrous Rage? Is this a new Monstrous Rage? That's what I'm going to find out in this one. Then this card, Vibrant Outburst. Holy cow, this thing is insane. It is an instant speed, blue and a red spell. Vibrant Outburst deals 3 damage to any target, so creature or face. Then we get to tap down 1 target creature. So always great throwing this at the opponent's dome, tapping down a blocker that might be in the way of our creatures, giving some prowess triggers to our team, and swinging in for lethal. This thing is pretty insane. It's just like an upgraded lightning strike. And then I am playing 2 copies of the Colorstorm Stallion, a 3/3 for 3 elemental horse, ward 1 and haste, and it has this new fixed, I don't know, prowess ability. It's called Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery speed spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Then if 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, create a token that's a copy of this creature. The only way we're going to trigger the second part of that is if we kick a burst lightning. So for the most part, we're just putting this out as a 3/3 hasty stallion that's going to get a little bit bigger when we cast our instants and sorceries. Of course, we were playing Elusive Otter and Slickshot Show-Off to round out the creatures in the deck, and Storm Chaser's Talent and Boomerang Basic package is, of course, in any good Izzet deck. The rest of the deck is just what you would expect. Good, solid, instant speed sorcery and instant speed spells that are going to support the rest of the game plan. In the lands, the only special thing here is the Willow Rush Verge, just in case we have a chance to do the Grove's Bounty from the Elusive Otter. So that's the deck. We're going to hop into some games and see if this Stallion can get us some wins. See you over there. Well, look at me sitting here playing some Izzet aggro, even though I often complain about the opponents doing the same thing to me whenever I run into these opponents these days. But it is what it is. Let's hope that we can get some quick games in. Our opponent is on Dimir right off the bat. So let's try to dig into our deck and try to find a little bit more action. We're going to take the Burst Lightning because we don't need any more lands. We got all the lands we could possibly want. Hopefully no more off the top. Hey, the Stallion's kind of cool. So we might actually get to see this thing in action right off the bat. Oh man, I think I've in testing this card pretty good. It definitely worked out a number of times for me. So, opponent holding up mana. Do I just want to go out with the Elusive Otter? Do I want to go out with the Stallion? You know what? Let's lean on the Otter. See if they have some removal. Do a little bit of a removal check. They have nothing. So next turn, if they don't really do something big here, we can put a ton of damage on the opponent's face. Kinda out of nowhere. Okay. Well. So do I want to tap down the Kothis? I think so. Do I want to trample over or do I want to tap it down? Is the question. So I'm going to go Slickshot Show-Off this, and I can only do 1 thing. So actually, it's not a ton of damage. But what we can do is not put out the Colorstorm Stallion. I don't know. Definitely going to be putting this out. Yeah, I think we're still going to go for it. We're gonna do as much damage as we possibly can, and hope that our board doesn't get wiped away. So Ancestral Anger, trigger. And this is not bad. We didn't want to see the mountain though. That sucks. 6 lands in this deck. Oh, 6 lands in this deck kind of means that you're you're probably not gonna win, right? The opponent now has a huge opportunity to like hit us with a devious cover up, and we'll be in so much trouble because we overplayed to the board without finding enough removal. Not enough removal, enough instant speed and sorcery speed stuff. So they have, whoa, they're using all of their mana on a Maelstrom Pulse for the Stallion. Okay, and what did they find over here? An Opt? Well, opponent, I got some bad news for you. I think this is lethal, even though we did draw. Uh-oh. Well, let's try to find something good. Protection. Ancestral Anger per 2. Okie dokie. Ancestral Anger. It's fantastic. They don't seem to have anything. That's an awesome draw. Okay, so even if they do have the Requiting Hex here, they are still very much dead. We still have another, this is how much? Another 6 damage in hand from this? That's insane. All right, so if your opponent stumbles ever so slightly when you're playing this deck, just a free win, right? Mega Darren is up next. I've played against Mega Darren a few times lately. So definitely a name I'm familiar with now. Hello, Mega Darren. I feel like Mega Darren always smacks me down too. So good on you, Mega Darren. They are playing something unique, something different. Okay, we're gonna take a little bit of damage here because I want to plot this Slickshot Show-Off. I don't think I'm brave enough to run it out because a deck like this probably has Seam Rips at its disposal. They are just leveling up the Figure of Fable to a 2/3 and putting out a land. So interesting looking deck from the opponent. They stun their Slumbering Trudge. What does all of that mean? Okay, okay. So from here, am I just setting things up? We put out the Elusive Otter and maybe hold up an Op. Sure. This probably blue. 2 Multiversal Passage is a little bit annoying, but yeah, we'll choose blue. We have a lot of blue in our hand. It should be fine. Oopsie. From here, if they just hit us, that's going to be okay. I don't know if they're going to be having... I'd rather them use their mana, of course. They might end up having lots of burn spells with this red. I don't know what I'm thinking right now. I have no idea how to predict anything that Mega Darren is doing because this is something unexpected. So the Nurturing Pixie, though... Do they return something? No, surely not. And another Slumbering Trudge. I mean, I like it. Eventually, these Slumbering Trudges are going to be a problem for us. Ancestral Anger is pretty good. That means that my Slickshot Show-Off can go through this Nurturing Pixie. We also get to draw a card, hopefully find a land. We do find a land. Let's do a little bit more digging. Ooh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Okay, so this turn is just going to be a swing in, do as much damage as I possibly can turn. They still have Sleeping Trudges, so I don't really care about that. This is representing another 3 damage, so currently we're doing a lot of damage. Is it worth it? Or do I need to put this out on... That's fine. Wait. We'll attack like this. Probably I'm going to throw off the Opt. And now the Vibrant Outburst is... I don't need that. Is representing lethal damage on the next turn. So if they don't kill us on this next turn or gain life, I think Mega Darren kind of getting slick-shotted. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Oh man, I tried the Slumbering Trudge. One of the first decks that I played when Secrets of Strixhaven came out, which is like a mono green ban Slickshot. It's a bad card. One of the decks was a mono green, like haste, big creature kind of deck, and I was playing the Slumbering Trudge, but it just didn't really feel right. 42 Sonder is our third opponent, and so far things have been going well for us and not so well for the opponent. Ooh. I'm going to try this one. I'm not happy with this land base, but we'll see. Probably the second Multiversal Passage needs to go out on red, of course, because we are packing quite a few red spells. Ooh, our poor Elusive Otter's toast. Oh! What do you take here? The Boomerang Basics? The Wild Ride. Oh, that's such a good draw. So, do you think I take the time here to bounce the Elusive Otter, replay the Elusive Otter? No, that can't be right, right? Let's find out. Let's find out if this is the right play. I don't know. Basically what I did was I just cycled my Boomerang Basics for a Vibrant Outburst. It's not nearly as good as doing it for the Storm Chaser's Talent, because the Storm Chaser's Talent leaves behind, obviously, the Otter. But yeah, maybe. I think this time we'll put this out on red. We are going to pay the 1 or 2 life and then get in with our Stallion. Perhaps the better play would have been Elusive Otter, just fire off the Burst Lightning on the opponent's face, get in for an extra point of damage with the Elusive Otter. But the opponent's actually quite slow here. They're going to take quite a bit of damage from the Stallion this turn. They're going to take a... That Ancestral Anger is a good draw. This Sleight of Hand is a good draw. We have 5 points of damage in hand. These are not good draws. But I think that's okay. We'll opt Ancestral Anger Part 2. Do I think that my Stallion is going to survive? That's the big question, right? Does the Stallion live through this turn? I'm going to say it doesn't. I think the opponent's probably going to try to kill it. Unfortunately, that was a tap land. Had that not been a tap land, this Wild Ride would have been insane. Another 4 points of damage, and then we would have had them on the next turn. But the Wild Ride's still pretty good here. Duress, okay. So it might be a little bit hard for them to get rid of the Stallion unless they have 2 CMC removal spell and they pay the 1. The opponent didn't have anything. They can't deal with the Stallion coming in next turn and the 5 points of damage that we had in hand. So, okay, I mean, hey, this is what you expect when you play Izzet, I suppose. As long as you don't run into the mirror match, you should be okay. Pino is our 4th opponent. And I will ask now, for anyone out there also playing this deck, have you tried the Stallion? And has the Stallion been working for you? And have you also been... I know this card's good. I don't need to ask about this card. Everybody knows that thing is insane. What about Ancestral Anger? That's what it's called, right? The 1 CMC thing. Giving trample to your creature and drawing you a card. Man, I'm completely forgetting what it's what it's all about. It seems great to me. It seems really great to me. Okay, let's just get in for some damage. We'll put this out on blue, tap. We have our mountain for our red sources. Maybe that needed to be actually a red source. I'm not exactly sure. Kind of stumbled there. My brain, sometimes, man, you're getting old. I'm sure some of you can sympathize with me. You get a little bit older and things just stop functioning sometimes. It's hard to formulate thoughts on some days. But you know what's not hard to do, even when you're brain dead? It's not hard to Storm Chaser's Talent, Boomerang Basics, replay the Storm Chaser's Talent, 8 for 8. Yeah, real complicated. Now we're gonna get wiped though, of course. Here comes maybe the new spell, the -2/-2 to everything. That would be pretty good to see from the opponent. It's just a Furdock Core. Okay, so GG. This is stupid. Does it matter what I do? Yeah. We don't need a slick shot. Trigger. Man, opponent, you had literally nothing. Yikes. You big yikes. That's rough, buddy. That's rough, buddy. I don't feel good about doing that. I feel like a bully. Maybe I am a bully. No, I'm not having fun. I'm not having fun winning. But perhaps having fun is not always the name of the game when you're playing Magic. Sometimes you just need to find some wins. And I think that's what I'm out here doing right now. Showing a deck that when the ladder restarts, probably if you're playing best of 1, I mean, it's not some big secret. Everybody knows. You just play Izzet and it's fine. And you know what? There are so many different configurations of Izzet that I think it's probably all going to be pretty much good. I like what's going on now because playing the Stallion is kind of neat. But only 2 copies of it. I really should have gone up to 3 or 4 just so I could have seen it a little bit more. But I think then the deck's probably not going to function as reliably. Ooh, okay. Well, Deep Cavern Bat to take my Burst Lightning. That's not good. And I suppose what we're going to do is we're just going to attack in with the Elusive Otter this time around. And threaten the Opt. There's no block here. Nobody ever blocks this, right? No. So we just get in for one, cheeky one, and we put out our Slickshot Show-Off, and we see what the opponent has in store for us. Mono black could be a pretty good matchup for them against us, I assume, but we do have the Boomerang Basic. They're going to take the Boomerang Basic here. I was going to say we can bounce the Deep Cavern Bat with the Boomerang Basic, get the Burst Lightning back, and go from there, but didn't quite work out. And you have to assume that they probably have Ancestral Anger. I did get it right. You have to assume that they probably have something here. Still, I think it's probably appropriate to take advantage of this right now while I can. We'll put the +1/+1 on the Elusive Otter. Pump up the team a little bit, and we'll get in for a cool 6 damage. They are gaining life, so something to be aware of. But I don't expect a board wipe from the opponent with 2 Deep Cavern Bats on the field. So I think I'm pretty safe to run out the Elusive Otter. Now they basically know what our hand is. You know, we have the opt. They don't know about this, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that we don't have a way of protecting our creature. They don't have a Requiting Hex to fire off though. So what kind of removal? They really need to find some kind of removal here, because next turn the Elusive Otters are going to get unblockable, and the Slickshot Show-Off can get trampled through the Ancestral Anger. And if we end up finding something like a Burst Lightning, ooh, we could really do some nasty damage to the opponent. Nowhere to run. That's fine. What do you take out? Slickshot? Sure. But that's their only removal for the turn. And a Violent Outburst. So Violent Outburst on the Deep Cavern Bat to burst. No, I only have 1 red source, so I do have to be a little bit careful here. Let's start with an opt to see what we draw into. If we end up drawing into a... It's pretty good, right? It is pretty good. I don't hate it. That's a lot of damage that I can end up doing to the opponent. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to smoke one of these Deep Cavern Bats now or just go for damage. They are healing the opponent ever so slightly, but they are down to 6. We are kind of like a house of cards that can just fall apart at any moment with just these 2/1, essentially 1/1s, Elusive Otters on the field. And there's the Ritual Chamber, the big old black demon. But the big old black demon will get tapped down by the Elusive Otters. And so what do we need now? We hit face, we tap down this thing. They go down to 6 and we just win. With that opt draw. That opt draw being absolutely massive for us. Do we BM? I'm going to BM the Unholy Annex player, because Unholy Annex is the black equivalent to playing Boomerang Basic and Storm Chaser's Talent. I guess. Yeah, I said it. Turns out good cards are good cards, right? If you're playing Unholy Annex or you're playing Storm Chaser's Talent, look at that. The game knows it's highlighting the Storm Chaser's Talent for me right off the bat. I just kept a 1-lander because I saw Storm Chaser's Talent and I didn't really think too carefully. But you know what? We're playing Izzet. So we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll go turn 1, Willow Rush Verge into Storm Chaser's Talent. And next turn we'll draw a land or we'll sleight of hand into one. It's not a problem whatsoever. This deck is, ooh, I like that. Easiest game of my life. Let's just swing. I think I'm gonna, you know what? I should have just put this Slickshot Show-Off out for a 2-mana and swung in for an extra damage. Mono green opponent probably. They're not going to have anything that's going to stop old Slicky in the air. Now, Shaz's Chocobo getting a little bit big, meaning my Otters might not be able to get in unless I hold up the secret identity. Boom. Okay. I mean, when you can, you do it, right? Draw me a land. Oh, every time. So, are we going to be careful? It's possible, you know, some of these red decks have been playing this new removal spell. It's like if you played another spell this turn, it gets +1/+0, and then it does damage. It's a fight spell. But I do have to be a little bit careful of that. So since I have such a commanding position, the opponent's on 2 lands, I'm just going to take it just a little easy, hold up the Secret Identity, and next turn we have probably more than enough damage. Now, if they use this turn to Earthbender Ascension, not really a great position for the opponent. So they have a 3/4 Chocobo back, but we are probably holding enough damage with the Secret Identity. And oh my god, yeah. I mean, okie doke. So sleight of hand. See if we get a bounce spell. Violent Outburst. That does it too, right? It's just like everything that we do does this. It just wins. We don't even need... I don't even need to do another spell. I still had... Secret Identity was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more damage, right? Because it makes it a 3/4 base. I think it's 3/4 base, yeah. Another 6 points of damage. We're taking down -9. What a run! Tickle Me Helmo. Tickle Me Helmo. Is that what this name is? Wow. You know what? The hands have also been pretty blessed over here, and we might get to see the Colorstorm Stallion one more time. The opponent... what does that mean? Golgari. I have been seeing a lot more people playing Golgari decks, which is pretty cool. I liked seeing... I played the one Golgari deck earlier this week, and it was a whole lot of fun. I've been seeing other lists that do some pretty cool stuff. So yeah, Golgari. Pretty awesome. We are discarding something. What are we discarding? Are we discarding... Man, I want to keep... So that's the protection, the hand selection... The opponent's probably going to have removal, but oh man, that's tough. That's tough. I'm going to plot it. I'm a coward. I always get called out for being a coward. You know what? And here, I'll share a little something with all y'all. I'm not only a coward when I'm playing this game, I'm also a coward in real life too. There are so many times when my partner accuses me of being an absolute coward. I do things in a certain way, or I don't do something or whatever, and yeah, she'll call me out for being a coward. So often. So the opponent put Gishath into the graveyard, which means next turn they're going to be reanimating something, which means next turn we're dead. So I guess I get in for 4 points of damage against this opponent and hope that they don't have the reanimation thing. Perhaps I should have swung one more time with the Slickshot, or a couple more damage with the Slickshot Show-Off, but... Okay. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, this becomes prepared and they get reanimate. But they don't have that. Okay. So how much damage do I actually have here? I can put this out and then cast all 3 of these. They won't... Oh my god, it's so much damage, right? So we give the Colorstorm Stallion haste, and we give it flying as well, which is not the best amount usage of damage, but it's so much damage. It's so much damage. I don't even know how to process how much damage I'm able to do with this deck, because as soon as the opponent just takes 1 turn off, no, I'm still not having fun. As soon as the opponent takes 1 turn off, everything becomes a 10 power creature and you just destroy your opponent. Absolutely insane. I probably should have put the Wild Ride on. It didn't really matter where I put the Wild Ride. I could have put it on the Elusive Otter though, but it was going to be unblockable because it would have been a 4/4. And we would have gotten in for so much damage. Maybe the last one. We're 7-0 with this little run here. We get to go first. This time around, no creature. Am I going to push my deck to the absolute limit and see if we can win when we don't have a creature? I almost clicked on. It doesn't matter what I take here. Do I want to have access to green? I don't know. I don't know if it matters. Okay, we might be in a little bit of trouble here if we can't find a way of buffing up something. And, ooh, if the opponent... Yikes. The opponent seems to be on... color that has removal for our creatures. We might actually be in trouble, because once we get one creature, we're going to have to protect that thing to the bitter end. Now, we do have 2 secret identities, so the secret identities can actually keep our poor creature nice and healthy once it hits the field. But... Hello? Hello? So, do I go in for 1 damage, I hold up the secret identity? Or no, I just plot it. It's not worth doing 1 damage here. It's not. It's not. It's definitely not. So let's see if old Slickshot can get it done. We do have a lot of mana. We can deploy everything. And they have their own Slickshot Show-Off. Are they going to come at us for 1 damage? They don't care. They're not cowards. I'm the coward. They want to get the Hazoret up to a good spot. Whoa. Okay. So, yeah, let's just put damage on the opponent's face. It's fine. Boom, boom. We put this out on blue, I suppose. We'll take some damage. It's okay. I kind of feel like they probably have a Burst Lightning for our Slickshot Show-Off. And I don't want to go too hard, but I probably will use this Burst Lightning on their Slickshot Show-Off just to get rid of it. They're not going to have... I guess they could have protection for it in white, but I don't think they do. I have a feeling they have a Burst Lightning for our Slicky. No. Not yet. Maybe they do. Maybe it's coming. What does Hazoret do? Hazoret can't do anything until target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. And then it needs max speed to do anything. But we just get in for 5, and then next turn, assuming that they can't remove both of our creatures, we should be in pretty good shape. And with double secret identity backup, we're probably fine. Okay, opponent, this is probably the turn. This is turn 4 format still. You know what? I don't hear people talking about that anymore. Like 5-6 months ago, everybody was like, it's a turn 3, turn 4 format. Everybody exaggerating saying turn 3, but mostly turn 4 format. Sometimes it felt like a turn 3 format, but that's not going to do it, right? Okay, secret identity. It sucks that I have to use it here, but it's still fine. And this Ancestral Anger can maybe draw us into something. But yeah, fast format all around. Boom. Hexproof. Shelter by Ghost, get out of here. And a Swift Blade Vindicator. That is cool. I love this. I love it. Oh, man. The card that's been the biggest all-star, definitely the Vibrant Outburst. Vibrant Outburst is just like absolutely cracked. What a card. What a card. Okie dokie, opponent. Well, it was fun. I don't know. I'm so conflicted. This is what I like doing, but it's just too strong. This is my style of game. I love burn. I love prowess. I love aggro, but I don't like decks that are so far above the curve. And right now, cards like Slickshot Show-Off, Storm Chaser's Talent, Boomerang Basic, Vibrant Outburst, holy cow, all of these cards just feel so strong. And I think that's pretty obvious when you go 8-0 and just run. We kind of just rolled over everybody. All right. Again, to the surprise of nobody, Izzet doing Izzet things. And I think all 3 of these cards are actually pretty good. Now, of course, in order, Vibrant Outburst, the all-star. If you are playing Izzet, you should be playing this card, especially if you are playing a creature-based strategy. But just in general, it's a very, very good card. Glad it's printed at uncommon. More people need to craft it. This thing is insane. Ancestral Anger also feeling good. 1 CMC cantrips. Imagine that. They're good. And then when you give trample to creatures like the 1/1 Otters that are made from the Storm Chaser's talent, or even your Slickshot Show-Off. Sometimes your opponent has a 1/1 in the sky, well, suddenly Slickshot Show-Off is a 9-10 power trampling creature, and you can't do anything about it. It's insane. And then, you know what, I'm pretty impressed with the Colorstorm Stallion. It didn't show up too often, but in the games that it did come out, it did damage. It's kind of like that old 3/3 for 3 that everybody used to hate. I'm gonna flash it up over there probably, right? It's kind of feels like that, but maybe even a little bit better because it gets Opus now, so it's kind of insane. And then Ward 1 is nothing to sneer at. Like, sometimes that's going to cause the opponent to miss removal for one turn and make a really awkward turn for their next turn when they have to then use the removal that they were holding up but couldn't deploy on that next turn with that extra bit of mana source. So yeah, everything about these 3 cards are awesome. I still think probably just playing the Eddie Crab version of the deck is probably going to be better, because Eddie Crab is pretty insane when you're filling up the graveyard. But this one is not really susceptible to graveyard hate. So just go for it. I guess it is a little bit with the Ancestral Anger, but who cares? Ancestral Anger getting extra damage from having other Ancestral Angers in the graveyard is just gravy on top of this card. You don't really need that. Boomerang Basics, Storm Chaser Talent still broken, Slickshot Show-Off still broken, everything else in the deck is insane. That's what we know. But hey, also, we got some cool new art. Wizards even treating us to some really nice looking art. Man, everybody loves Izzet. Let me know what you think about Izzet. Is it aggro? Is it in general in standard? Do you think something needs to be done to slow its roll? Is it out of control? It kind of feels like it is out of control a little bit, but I don't know what you even do. Like, there are so many different Izzet decks and they're all problematic. How much would you have to remove to tone it all down? I don't know. Take care for now, and I'll catch all of you wonderful people in the next video. Bye-bye.